All right, man, we here. We gonna show up, regardless of how it looks, regardless of what happens. We are going to show up. The war report is here. Auburn pulls off the victory somehow against Arkansas. Preliminaries out of the way. Like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Click on the Instagram or Twitter. You can go here and look at the TikTok, whatever, man. We almost lost this game, bruh. We almost lost this game, and we deserved, if you ask me, to lose with how poorly we played. Explain this to me. Explain this to me. How do you almost mess up spiking the football?
Yeah, that was very fortunate that they didn't call that a fumble.
Because they should
How
have.
do you almost mess that up?
They should have.
So obviously Gus is using his the recruitment funds to pay off refs in games like this. How many 5 stars could we have gotten with that money he had to transfer to the them refs accounts? Huh?
Right.
Nonsense, bro.
Everybody's
That
saying
loss.
they're saying it's stressful. This was pathetic. We got lucky. Should have been a fumble. Listen,
It was a fumble.
Any
a
Arkansas
fumble.
fan who wants to come into this stream right now and say, "Man, you guys stole this game. That was a fumble," I'm not even mad.
It was
Yeah,
Not even
I would agree.
Even though Arkansas was holding the entire night, like the main reason why Felipe Franks was able to get away out of the pocket most of those times, they were getting held. But who cares? As it comes down to it, Anders Carlson missed the first field goal that should have put us up. Then Bo Nix fumbled away the game, and the refs did not call it, and we got a reprieve. We should have lost this game, and there is no reason we should be sitting on this stream after being up 17-0, talking about how we almost lost this game on a call that went our way. There's no reason for that. Tank Bigsby.
the reason.
Tank Bisbee is.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He's
He a
grown
baller.
man.
I just hope he stays healthy because we've seen this story before. A guy catches fire, he becomes our positive on offense, and we run him into the ground, and then he can't produce for us towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
I just want them to take him off of kickoffs. Like, if you're gonna run him this much, put somebody else back.
I agree.
In kick coverage. But Tank Bigsby's a grown man.
Yeah, we found RB1.
We found an Arkansas fan. Of course, you agree it was a fumble. It was. I'm not even.
It was a fumble. Yeah, Mark.
Welcome, Mark. Welcome, Mark.
Fumble.
We understand.
We understand it was a fumble.
We feel you.
Yeah, it was definitely a fumble. You will get no argument from us there.
And it's easy for us to agree with that because that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's talk about this right here. If anybody doubts that Gus Malzahn designed the vast majority of the plays in the first half, now second half looked a little bit different. But the first half looked like they were just running last year's playbook. And I don't have any reason to know why that was a thing.
Because we dominated Arkansas last year, so I understand that. I understand why you would think, hey, this personnel, we got them. This should work. We don't have to show them anything new. We don't have to put new stuff on tape. I'm not upset that they came out there with the same stuff because of that stuff worked last year, but it did not work this year. We look bad, and even with the stuff that did not work.
This defensive line statement, but I agree. Offensive line looks better this week.
I'm worried about the D line because we hurting for numbers there.
Yeah, man, we're going down.
Right.
But
so let me tell you.
I will not say the defensive line played better this week. But go ahead. We'll give our grades in just a second.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Felipe Franks outplayed Bo Nix.
My God. Felipe Franks outplayed
Bo Nix.
Full stop. Felipe Franks
outplayed Bo
Nix. Full stop.
And so in the pregame, we talked about hey, this might be a messy game, and I was like, no, I don't want to hear that. You got to go out there, you got to complete passes, and you got to make plays regardless of the weather, right? And he did it to the tune of 318 and 4 TDs. So,
now, what I will say, and not to cut you off too much, what I will say is Browse diagnosed some really great plays to put Felipe in a position where he had to make easy throws, but he completed them, and he completed and this is what we talk about with Bo.
Talking about what an offensive coordinator is supposed to do.
The offensive
Right.
coordinator putting you in a position to make easy throws because he's seeing what the defense is trying to do to attack you and
Right.
saying, okay, this is how we're going to adjust and combat that. And then
Mhm.
when he needed to make the big throws down the field late in the game, he did it.
Right.
This is all we've been asking Bo Nix to do for a year and a half is not throw away easy stuff and make a couple tough ones in the positions where you need to do that. He almost threw a pick late in this drive on this one, throwing it behind
Yeah.
center. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand.
Well, I don't really think we need to understand at this point. I just think
Right.
that it is just what we said before, that we have to
I agree with this as
start
well.
asking. We have to start asking.
He was trying to save his timeout for them to be able to do it on the drive, which I stopped.
No,
There was no chance of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure it would have mattered at the end of the day, but like
Yeah.
well, it's time to start asking about whether Bo Nix is this as good as it gets with him, right? A great game here and there, but mostly, he looks not very developed out there, right? He doesn't look sharp. Our offense goes as he goes. Thank God Tank Bigsby ran for over 100 yards today. Without him, this would have been ugly, right? And again, without a defensive or special team score, we lose.
That's what I was going to bring up. The
We
special
lose.
teams touchdown is the reason we won this game.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, the offense did not put up enough points.
Right. Yeah.
Arkansas, we didn't gift Arkansas any points. They legitimately drove
Took
the
it.
ball on our defense consistently. We can't, and we honestly cannot blame the offense for the defense being tired this game because there were not a bunch of 3 and outs. There were some, but there weren't a bunch of them. The defense was just bad this game.
Yeah, again, I'm not as hard on the defense as you guys are because there's a lot.
What did they do?
There's a lot of offensive talent in this league. Sometimes the team that you line up against beats you, right? But they did play well enough. They played well enough to win this game, and it was mostly offensive ineptitude that almost cost us the win. I can't look at this and just say, and I'm not looking at this and saying, is this defense going to be good enough to win games? Well, from time to time, they're inconsistent here and there. They did lose a lot. They did have a lot to replace. They were missing KJ Britt. They did some good things in the secondary, right? But for the most part, Felipe Franks had a decent game. We got to get over, I was kind of willing to accept some of the stuff with Georgia because I was like, at some point, the team on the other side of the ball is just better than you, right? Now, it hurts because it's Arkansas, but, the truth is that after last week, we were coming to terms with the fact that this team just isn't as good as we would like them to be, right? And they have, for years and years and years, we've just been seeing, man, it's just the defense holding us in, and now they just need help from the other side of the ball. They're an average defense. They're an average defense that can make plays here and there, but we just need help from the other side of the ball, right? So Arkansas is what they are. I'm not shocked by this. I thought that an upset was possible, and we got some lucky breaks and ended up winning this game. But to me, it just says nothing. This is a meaningless win in the win column at the end of the day. Right.
Sure.
And it means nothing in terms of, how we're going to propel forward. There's nothing to feel good about really after this.
No, because the problem is not that a win or loss. It's the way we looked in the game. And we looked bad. We looked really bad this entire game. Let's get to the grades, though. As always, we can start. We actually need to start. We have something to talk about with the special teams this game. So we're going to start with the special teams grade. B. Will, I'm going to go to you first. Give me a grade for our special teams.
Special teams was an A. We got that early score. And after that, we actually kept them pinned a couple times. We had some good punts that made them drive the length of the field. Tank had some good returns. I thought the special teams did fairly well. Maybe B+, but I didn't see every special teams play, so I might have missed if we flubbed in 1 or 2 places with a penalty or something. But from what I was able to see, chasing the kid around half the game. we did well enough to that was not a weakness. That was actually a strength. We kept them on their side of the field. We scored some points, and we didn't give away anything on special teams. I mean, we missed the field goal. I know he missed the field goal, but that's going to happen. You hate that it happened when it did, when the game mattered. I'd like to be up 3 touchdowns when he missed the field goal.
I'm not hard on Crossing.
But
I'm
I'm
not hard on
not too
Carson
hard
for
on
that, but I'm not
that.
going to give them an A. Caesar, go for it.
I was going to say B. I was going to say B plus because we were not flawless on special teams, but special teams wasn't a liability and it helped us win the game. So I give it a B plus.
Mike?
I'm with Brian. I give the special teams an A. I think, again, you don't win the game without special teams.
Yeah, I agree with that, but
right?
I'm not going to.
You don't win the game, right? And the missed kicks, like the benchmark for A can't be flawless, right? Like it just can't be flawless. So I mean,
again, if you think I'm rating it as an A because of one missed kick, then you're wrong. The kickoffs that went out of bounds were bad. That was bad situation putting us.
Okay, that's fair.
We had 2 of those kickoffs that go out of bounds. The only thing that gets them to stay in the B is because when you get 2 kickoffs that go out of bounds plus a missed field goal, that's 3 dings against them. The fact that we had a blocked punt is the only reason I'm back in a B category because special teams was not great today. It wasn't. It was just okay. So a B for me. That's not bad. Again, I'm not saying it's flawless. I'm just saying that we could be better. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball and let's talk about our defensive line. I'm gonna start with Caesar on this one.
They played better. I'm gonna give the D line a C plus in this game.
C plus from Caesar. Mike,
just because we had to give pressure from other areas other than the D line, and that's just with a quarterback like Felipe Franks to just have time to sit back there and get comfortable at times. Granted, we lived in the backfield in the second half a good bit, but I would like to see our D-line begin to generate pressure to where Steele doesn't have to blitz, and then we leave ourselves vulnerable to screens and other types of plays because we're being aggressive trying to get a stop or throw off the timing of an offense. So I give them a C plus for that.
All right, C plus from him. Mike, what you got?
B minus on the D-line tonight. 2.8 yards allowed per rush is pretty good. I mean, they held Arkansas to under 150 yards of total rushing. We didn't generate much pass rush. Felipe Franks kind of had a field day. Like I was a little disappointed that we couldn't.
You said much. Hold on. You said that we didn't generate much pass rush. You saw pass rush.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like it wasn't.
Okay,
it was. There was nothing.
Much, I thought there was some.
Nothing stands out there to me. Yeah, nothing that stands out there to me. Right, like it was just hey, we limited them on the ground. Right, so that was a positive.
You're late to the thing. Hayden asked, "Do we believe that was a correct call?" Either you're late or you didn't hear us say no. It was not the correct call. It was a fumble.
No, we don't. We don't believe that was a correct call.
And we wanted it to be a fumble so that Gus Malzahn could be fired. So thank you, welcome Hayden. We want Gus gone. I'm sorry y'all didn't win that game. Y'all deserve to win that game.
Listen, Hayden, we're homers, but this isn't a homer analysis here. Like that was just. Our quarterback is awful. He made the wrong play. He panicked and did classic Bo Nix and panicked and nearly cost the game.
We will get to Bo Nix. All right. So you give him a B minus, right? That's what you said?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, right? I'm a little easy on those guys only because I know
you're way too easy on the defense for whatever reason. I don't understand why you are so light on the defense and so hard on the offense.
But,
I mean, you're not able to be objective. All right, B Will, go ahead. What you got?
D line, I'm with Caesar. I say a C. Pass rush.
C-.
We could not get to the quarterback with 4. And Kevin Steele didn't even pretend. Every time he did, we played good coverage when we only sent 4. When everybody else stayed back, we got good coverage.
Which is why my defensive backfield is going to be the rating that I'm going to give. But the defensive line for me was a C minus, and I'm being generous because you're talking about rushes per game. Arkansas has been trash on the ground every week. So I'm not expecting them to run well. If they ran well on us, that's a D effort. They had absolutely no pass rush, and they were getting abused in their rush lanes. Felipe Franks was escaping routinely They were a C minus
Yeah.
at best. C minus
Yeah.
at best on the defensive line. You guys are being really generous with that because
I
our
said,
defensive line
see
looked
what
like
you
trash.
talking about. I mean, but when guys are falling down, I'm for when other guys, when we're playing, we're already experience deficient on the defensive line. TD Moultrie has not worked.
TD Moultrie might be a D by
TD
himself.
worked. TD Moultrie has not worked. I had high hopes for him when he came in. He's supposed to be a physical guy. They moved him to defensive end, D line from linebacker. I don't know if he wasn't fast enough to play linebacker or what, but they obviously liked him there. He has not worked out. So that is
Has he had a game where he got playtime and did not get a penalty for something?
I don't know.
I mean, seriously, like I would love to see how many times TD Moultrie registers playtime in a game and does not get a penalty for something. 90% of them likely were offsides penalties. He can't stay offsides to save his life. And
Didn't he get a face mask in this
the
one?
face mask penalty he got, he finally did everything right on that play. He set the edge, he split the double team of the of the blockers, and then he grabbed the dude's face mask. I was like, come on, bro. Like, you have so much physical talent to not.
And he had
able to
help behind him
mentally
too,
be
so you
engaged.
didn't have to do that.
I just don't understand. I just don't fundamentally understand. All right, moving on. I said C minus for me on the defensive line. Let's get to these linebackers. How did the linebackers play today? I will start with Mike this time.
C.
All right,
C.
that's all you got, just a C?
That's all I got on linebacker.
C's
Nah,
what
man,
you
I'm
got.
just going to C.
Not much else to say, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
C minus for me.
C minus
Yeah.
for the linebackers for you, B. Will.
I give him a C as well.
Yeah,
C.
I'm going to actually give a C on this one just because I feel like our linebackers, they were asked to blitz a lot. They were out of position a lot on their rush lanes coming down here. Again, that's where we miss KJ Britt a lot because that's really his game is downhill against the run.
Yeah.
They weren't really doing a lot in spy opportunities when they could have.
I'll say C for me. Just being fair because they don't have KJ Britt.
Yeah, and so but
trying to find the legs.
I saw a comment down here, someone saying the rush lanes are too big for them to fill. The reason why I disagree with that is because the time Smoke Monday came downhill into a rush lane, what did he do?
Clean up.
He was
Clean up
because he understood the right angle and when to attack the opening. And that lane was wide open. Like, he misses that tackle, that dude's running for a long time.
Right.
So I just don't feel like our linebackers played well. When they were asked to be in coverage, routinely really bad in coverage. Like, we just have linebackers who can't cover guys. Their angles of attack when they're going to, it's just bad. It's just bad. They've got to do better with how they're attacking. I just don't know. Now for McClain to be in there, really starting at middle linebacker for his first time, he did a pretty decent job. But yeah, I don't know. I got to go with a C on the linebacker. All right, let's talk about this defensive backfield. How did we do back there in the back? I'll start with you, B. Will.
We gave up some big plays. I was concerned that not that we gave up the big plays, but who gave them up. Tut for that last
burnt
touchdown pass. Like, that was surprising to me because he plays smart. Like, that's the one thing I love about Tut. Tut plays smart. He makes a good play. He tackles well. But I was very surprised to see him give up a big play. I was surprised to see. I couldn't remember
the fourth down catch that happened. That was on Tut side of the field.
That was surprising.
A play that he breaks up.
Well, you said the 4th and 6 that they converted.
Yeah,
and then they threw the touchdown like right after that.
Correct.
Yeah,
both of those were on Tut.
Yeah.
I give them a B minus. I guess we have to kind of weigh as we're grading this out. We had excellent play on the defensive line for 2 years, and it makes everybody look better behind them. So we thought we had a great secondary last year. I do think we had a really good secondary. I thought we had really good players, but now we're seeing what it looks like when it's just you and your defensive line ain't scaring the quarterback no more. And it's exposing them, man. It's exposing them. I say B minus because they did hold up for a good number of plays.
Correct.
but they
And
also gave
I
up.
actually, I'm going to agree with a B minus score on them
Yeah,
because
me
when
too.
they were asked to play coverage, Felipe didn't have anywhere to go with the ball, right?
Right.
It was when we were blitzing that they weren't recognizing the times where it was a dump down and they needed to, be on alert for stuff like that. So I really don't know what they were calling on the back end a lot of those times, but we were getting killed by those short underneath passes on third down
Mhm.
that were getting conversions. Again, props to Kendall Browse. He called a marvelous game.
Yeah, he
But
did.
yeah, well, our defense was getting shredded. Mike, what you got for the defensive backfield?
B minus. These guys are the strength of our defense, clearly this
Easily,
year. Right.
easily,
Right.
and
And
that's with one of our top guys, even though he's a freshman, Simpson not being
right.
Right.
And
Um,
with without generating much in terms of pass rush, having to hold your coverage for as long as they did, they were bound to give up some plays, right? And credit to Felipe Franks. So I mean, we were real hard on him early this week, but
for
at
sure.
the end of the day, he came out and he
Felipe,
had
this was
had a
probably
big
one of the
game. He
best
balled.
games I've ever seen him play.
Right.
Similarly, like elsewhere in the SEC, kind of like a couple quarterbacks that we were hard on, right? Like Kellen Mond, saw Kellen Mond have one of the best games of his career today, right?
Yeah.
He produced, and it was allowed them to get the win. So, like, what I would just say is, hey, the defensive back, the DBs did what they could, right? They did give up some good plays. Credit to Arkansas for play calling and execution. Like, their quarterback put the ball, like some of those balls were on the money,
On
right?
the money. That
So it wasn't
last
like
touchdown throw was as
was as
you
perfect
can't
as it
throw it
gets.
better than that. Like
Right,
he
right.
dropped it over the top, hit a guy in stride, left him enough room on the back end to be able to make sure that he was gonna still have enough room to get his feet. It was a beautiful throw.
Right.
Felipe
Yeah.
Franks played a wonderful game.
There's no defense for a perfect pass. Right.
Okay, I agreed with you that Arkansas got robbed. He was definitely down.
Yeah,
That's
he
not
was
true.
down. His
I,
elbow.
Yeah,
I
he was
agree with you
down.
on the last one. That was a fumble. He was 100% down on that other play.
Yep. We call it like we see
I'm
it.
gonna be honest. When it goes in our favor and when it doesn't, that was 100%. He was down. The other one was a fumble. All right.
Right.
DV's Caesar. What you got?
I had a B minus as well.
Okay.
Again, anytime you blitz, you leave them vulnerable and it becomes 50-50. You're going to make some plays, sometimes not so much. And
Right.
when we were not putting pressure or blitzing, those guys held their own. A lot of coverage sacks. Felipe started running for his life. So I think the DBs played a good game. So yeah, considering, so B minus.
And I'm so disappointed in Tut though, man, because he was my guy back there, and he
Mhm.
has been getting burnt. I think did Jalen Waddle just damage his psyche or something because he was playing hurt in the Bama game, but he just not looked right this season, and it started last year in that Bama game. Him
Mm.
getting Jalen Waddle putting him just abusing him for 4 quarters consistently. Like I just don't understand what's happened to this man. He's been good in the kick return game still,
Yeah.
which whatever for that. But I just want the man to play better in the nickel slot where he's been doing pretty well before now. Hopefully he gets his swag back. All right, let's get over to the offensive side of the ball, and let's talk about the offensive line.
I mean, C plus for me.
Again, Clayton, we're not disputing whether or not we should have lost the game. We
I think he's
definitely
venting.
should have lost that
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
I think
we
he's
feel you.
venting, guys.
I get it.
Yeah,
I
we get it.
understand.
Yeah.
If you had gotten here earlier, you would have heard us talk about this already. We agree with you. But yeah,
Yep.
let it out. This is what we're doing. This is our venting session. You get to vent with us about this game, even though it doesn't come out in your favor. Offensive line. Let's go. I'm gonna start with the offense. No, I'm not gonna start with the offensive line because I want to hear the shenanigans that's gonna come up with Mike with this. Go for it.
You know what? Like, overall, they improved. Tank went for 20 for 146 on the ground, right? And
Yes.
that's critical.
Excellent run blocking today.
Yeah. As critical as we were of our run game last week, and the week before, and just saying like, hey, well, listen, we need to find a run game. They clearly figured something out against a defense that extremely limited Mississippi State the week
Correct.
before. So,
And that's
like,
the reason why I give them so much props this week is because it's not as if Arkansas has been trash on defense all season.
Right.
They've really been good And I said this in our pregame, not the pregame,
Hmm.
but in the thing earlier this week. Really, for 6 quarters, that defense has played really well. They played bad for
Right.
2 quarters against Georgia, but the rest of the year they've been good.
Yeah.
They got beat up front. Tackling was atrocious in their second level. But yeah. Anyway, what's the grade for the offensive line? Sorry.
You know what, I would go with B minus for them today. I mean, ultimately, they weren't the issue with the pass game to me
Yeah.
today, right? Like the
No.
pass game
Agreed.
was about trash quarterback play. So like I think it'll be minus for me.
I will agree with you on that. B Will, what you got for our O line?
O line, I'm with Mike. I say B minus. I mean, don't get me wrong, we weren't mashing and having the running back not getting touched until he's 5 yards past the line, but it was definitely an improvement. I don't know how much of that is an improvement, but because our talent on the other side was worse than it was last week that we were playing against, but we looked better. We looked better. We got yards when we needed to get yards on the ground. So that's definitely an improvement. So give them credit for that.
For sure. Caesar, what you got? O line.
Same sentiments. I've seen we're seeing from the O line what we are hoped to be seeing. Right, they're getting better with each game, and they did that. We saw our running game come alive, and for the most part, if they were not blitzing, Bo Nix had time to operate.
Yes.
So that's pretty much what you want your O line to do for you. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a easy B minus for me for the O line.
Yeah, I'm gonna go B instead of B minus. But yeah, O line played well today. I've seen improvement this week from them. From again a decent defense. Arkansas has played well this year. Has not they've been a bend but don't break type of defense. Opportunistic. We didn't turn the ball over. Probably should have had a fumble late in the game, but outside of that, we didn't turn the ball over this game. So yeah, a B for the offensive line for me. I know I'm gonna let B Will go on the wide receivers, and I know you got to get out of here. Go for it on the wide receivers.
So why not? So if Seth is hurt, I don't know why he's featured so prominently. I'm not saying he shouldn't be on the field because if you think as a defense that he can do what he usually does, then he should be out there to draw some attention. However, I don't know what Schwartz's route running capabilities are. He seems to just be a straight line runner, whether it's diagonal or just directly upfield, and the defense is going to cover him more than not. And that seems to be the extent of it. So maybe he can run to a spot where the coverage is not there and Bo can find him. No, that doesn't happen. Bo may happen to have no other options and get the ball around Schwartz, but he doesn't really hit Schwartz in stride like he should. Schwartz is open a good amount of time. Bo cannot hit this man in stride in a position to keep running to save his life. So he is misutilized. He's not underused. He's used. He's out there. He's running. He's getting to places he should
the
be on the
one
field.
drive where Schwartz scored, that's probably the best we've seen them use him in multiple ways across the field. Him in different layers. It wasn't just these quick flare out situations. There were those, but they used him in multiple layers. They just can't. We can't hit a deep ball with him. Which
No, we can't.
I don't understand how you can't find a way to get a guy who can outrun everyone on the field open consistently. That just baffles me. But anyway, whatever. But anyway, wide receiver play. What's your score?
So I'd say C plus, B minus. Seth is, if he's not 100% and he doesn't feel himself, then he's almost a liability, and that hurts. That hurts us because Bo leans on him so much that it takes attention. He should be paying more attention to the other guys in the field. On that one where he was going for Seth in the end zone, Shedrick was right there. He was right there. He would have at least gotten us a first down on that second to last drive. But I'd say B minus for the wide receivers.
All right, B minus. What you got, Caesar?
I'm gonna say B.
Okay.
Because even then, some of these passes were like not thrown well to these receivers, so hard to fault them for that. Seth is hurt, we know that. Yeah, I just give him a B. I'm happy to see we use Schwartz more, but I think it's almost kind of like we had to. And we have more receivers than what we have. So again, to me, this is a problem. If you don't have receivers who are either running routes, and I was talking about this during the game, I don't like how Bo just focuses in on a certain receiver to where he feels he has to throw in triple coverage. Like there has to be somebody else.
That's not the receiver's fault though. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But my point is, then that's why I'm not grading them. I just feel like we have more receivers than what are being featured in this offense. But with the guys who are on the field, Bo just focuses on one or two guys. And I was just looking forward to seeing us spread the ball around. But for what we did in this game, I give it a B.
Mike, what you got?
I'll let y'all fellas.
All right, man.
All right, B.
I'm going with a B. Like I said, I mean, the receiver performance is not. It's more symptomatic of what's going on at quarterback. So I put the load of the blame there. Only 4 receivers caught a pass in this game. Of the 17 completions, 10 of them went to Schwartz. Right. So that's about the offense. Right. Like, I mean, we threw the ball 10 times to Schwartz. 3 times to Seth Williams, and
three completions to Seth Williams, not 3
correct.
targets. Okay,
correct.
Got targeted more than that. All right.
And there was just only 4 others after that, right? Like, so at the end of the day, you're right. That's I mean, Bo Nix really only threw the ball to 3 people because one of the completions was by somebody not named Bo Nix, right? Like, so.
That was the shovel pass by Pegues.
Correct. Right. Yeah. So, like, I mean, at the end of the day, he only completed passes to 3 receivers in the game.
Yeah,
and I just really think
that's not on Bo Nix. I mean, that's not on the receivers. That's more on not just Bo Nix, but we'll get to that in a minute. So my grade for the receivers actually is going to be a little bit less than you all. And this is something I pointed out to B. Will. I actually called him during the game and told him this. And this is I highly doubt anybody who is a defensive coordinator or fan of another team is watching this game to develop film study or whatever. I want you guys to watch Seth Williams pre-snap the next game. Just watch him pre-snap. If it is not a designed pass call, he will keep his hands at his hips right here in front of him. If it's designed to be a pass call or there's a pass call on the back end of whatever the run play is, he lines up with his hands up off of his hips. He is completely disengaged in any play that does not involve the possibility of him getting the ball on it. Watch what I tell you. He doesn't try to block. And when I noticed it was early in the 3rd quarter, because the guy who was checking him would just abandon him immediately at the snap and go dive in on the run play. And it wasn't a called corner blitz. It was him reading Seth and his body language to say, oh, they're not throwing the ball this play, because Seth looked completely disengaged. That, with a couple of drops that he had that he should have caught, I'm going to give them a C overall, because there's only a few people you get to evaluate, right? It's either Seth, Anthony Schwartz, or Shedrick Jackson for the most part, because nobody else even sees the ball come in their direction. So I'm going to give him a C because I didn't like the energy that I saw out of Seth Williams, and he got targeted a lot. So that's what I'm going to give the receivers on this one. All right, running backs. Let's get to that one right there. I'm going to start with you, Caesar. What are you giving the running back play?
An A. I mean, we got a 100-yard rusher. Almost had another one in DJ Williams, who had a good outing. Ran the ball well. I would have liked to have seen someone other than Bo Nix get a running touchdown. But no, the running
to see the end zone today, man. I was really
yeah. So I would have liked to see one Tank get rewarded, but they ran the ball well, and it made me feel better about at least the running game portion of our offense moving forward, that we can run the ball. And again, as you mentioned earlier, Arkansas is a respectable defense, may not be considered elite, but respectable. And for us to get it going against them is encouraging. So I give them an A. They didn't turn the ball over. It was a close on that review call. I felt he was down. But he was down. He was down. I felt he was down. So no turnovers. No turnovers from our running backs. I was pleased with their play.
Yeah, Mike, what you got for the running backs?
259 yards on the ground says it all. right?
Yeah,
You know,
and a lot of that after contact, and that's the thing
right.
that is like missed in that stat line. It's like the offensive line played well,
Yes.
but a ton of those yards are after contact.
Yeah, they play well, you know, and we needed it today because without it, I mean, the total yards for each offense was about even. There was only like 11 yards separating the two. So you know, 437 yards of offense, you got 259 yards on the ground. Like that's a good day for them.
Yeah.
They more than did their share.
Yeah, no, running backs played well. DJ Williams played well when he came into the game. Other than there was like one play where mysteriously Tank Williams tripped up in the backfield. But listen, this is the thing I want to point out about Tank that is impressive. He's a freshman running back. He didn't miss any blitz pickups. When he was assigned to like just sneak out of the backfield. He was open a lot, and Bo Nix for some reason never like he hit him on the check down maybe twice, and he should have hit him way more than that just because he was forcing throws downfield for no reason.
He zones in on a receiver.
And then the
Yep.
other thing that I thought was interesting, the play where he fell down twice, like as he gets the ball. But the first time he did that, this is how ready for the NFL Tank Bigsby is. He hopped right back up and started trying to get yardage because in his mind, they didn't touch me. And that's not even the rule in college. But
Right.
he's so pro ready, man. Like this dude is going to be special if we can figure out how to make sure we keep him healthy and keep feeding him the ball. He's going to be special. All right. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to the one quarterback play.
Trash.
I'm about to say I
Basura.
don't even have
Basura.
I
Garbage.
know where Mike is going to go, but I will give you the floor, Mike G. Talk to us.
Trash. Basura. Garbage. They are awful. I mean, listen, Bo Nix was at home in his own place. And I mean, it was just a piss poor performance. Like, I'm ready to see what's next. If this is it, right? You know, I don't have any faith that I think this is as good as it gets with Bo Nix personally. And he may have a good game here or there, and then all the Bo Nix supporters will come out and say, "See, Mike, he had a good game. He's got talent," right? Like, but to me, it just doesn't matter if you don't do it consistently, right? And you know, he was not only did he not do much to help us win this game, like he was almost the sole reason we lost it.
I was about to say he almost cost us the game.
Right? Yeah, right. And the
Because
rest
it
bailed
wasn't
him
a
out.
bad snap. There was literally no
he
reason
blew
for
it.
him to get frustrated and turn to do what he did. He could have just picked the ball up and threw it right back down.
He blew it, man. He choked. I mean, that was a choke job, right? So, you know, I put 80% on Bo, right, and then I put the rest on coaching, because some of those things were not
We'll
about
get to
coaching,
in a minute too.
right? But like, just look at it this way. Like, he had a whole year in the SEC. He had 14 games in the SEC last year, right? And agreed, Anthony, it's going to be a long season. You remember what I said earlier this week. I thought that finishing with a losing record is definitely a possibility for this team, and that not only did we need to win this game, we needed to win it well and convincingly. Right. But again, I don't want to take all credit away from Arkansas on what they were able to accomplish, but I just saw a lot of execution errors for game number 3. Right. So they were very fortunate to come away with the win. Bo it's time, in my book, it's time to move on from him. Right. Like, he's not going to lead your program to a championship. He's not going to get you there. He's not going to be Georgia in the championship game. He just doesn't have what it takes. He got outdueled by Felipe freaking Franks today. Right. Like guys, that's it.
All right.
Yeah.
For him, Caesar, what do you have for Bo Nix?
I'm a little bit nicer than Mike.
Everybody's nicer than Mike when it comes to Bo Nix.
When it comes to Bo Nix, yeah.
D, because anything above a D.
He. It's hard for me to give an F to someone who, his completion percentage wasn't great. He was 17 for 28, threw a touchdown, didn't throw a pick. But he does things this is one of the reasons why it took us so long to finally come to the that we've come to with Bo, because he makes decisions in games that may not register on the stat sheet, but if it accumulates at the wrong time, it can cost you a game. Case in point tonight. And so he, again, as I've said, I think Bo is just a head case. I just think that when it comes to having a quarterback who is composed, who can make a play, who you can trust to take on the road with you, who can bounce back from a mistake, have a short-term memory, and execute, he's not it. At least not consistently. And
that's the biggest problem, is that last word.
Yeah,
consistently.
And so he's I don't know, for what we aspire to have in a season where we want to go as a program, you got to ask yourself, is an inconsistent quarterback is who we can rely on to move us forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
I don't know that no team can survive a bad quarterback. Like, unless your run game is unstoppable, you cannot survive a bad quarter. You have to have an amazing.
You can't even do that in this league.
And an unstoppable
quarterback. Yeah. Which how could those things? How could it be without any semblance of a passing game, right?
Right.
Because unless the teams you're playing are just garbage, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like you literally have to have, like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to give him an F either. This is something that B will text during.
Did I give him a D?
You give him a D. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going to give him an F either. I am going to give him a D plus, because there were points again in the game where he looked serviceable. He stepped up in the pocket, eyes downfield, hit open receivers. But then he goes and he throws it into triple coverage to Seth close to the end of the game. No idea why you even attempt to make that throw.
And threw in the middle of the field and didn't see a middle linebacker.
Late, almost got picked off late in the game.
Yeah.
On that same play, again, Tank was wide open. You drop it down. You don't listen. We only needed like 20 yards. You don't have to get it all on one play, and you got plenty of time.
Hero ball.
You to check down, throw it to your check down, pick up 5-6 yards. Knowing Tank, he might have picked up 20. Who knows? Because he's a typical guy to tackle. But yeah, I'm gonna go D plus, because at points in the game I felt like he did okay. But overall, I'm not super confident in his ability to play football for Auburn. All right, last thing here, coaching. What are we gonna give our coaching staff? Mike, what you got?
D.
D for the coaches. Is that all around? Just
that's all. That's that's all around. Like, I mean, we just didn't look prepared. Like, as a team, offense and defense. I think they are. It's really. I mean, you can have good players, but with the way that teams are scheming, like all the offensive talent that other teams have in our league, and all these creative coaches that are coming into the league, your team cannot overcome, to me, like, good bad coaching, right? No preparation, bad game plan. You have all the talent in the world, but if you can't put them in the right places, via coaching, like, it just seemed like we did not have a good plan for Arkansas, and we did not improve, especially anything offensively. And mind you, yes, I will admit the offense is dragging my score for them down, the coaching down, right? Like, I mean, I was hopeful for Chad Morris's offense, but like, I'm thinking to myself, okay, but does he need a better quarterback, right? But I'm putting that on him too, right? Because at the end of the day, if he's not pulling Bo from the game, if there's not a conversation this week after about whether Bo's the guy or not, right? And you are a quarterback recruit, right? Like, and you're coming in and thinking like, well, I'm not coming in to sit behind somebody who I'm clearly better than, right? Like, I just don't, right? Yeah, agreed, Stephen. Target more receivers other than Seth. Like, again, you missed it, but I mentioned, we had an offensive game plan that literally only got the ball to 3 receivers the whole game.
It would have made a difference, Keontae.
It would only make a difference if Gus allowed him to call plays. But Kendall Brown, that's a true statement, though. Kendall Browse was.
It is a true statement, but it wouldn't have made a difference.
Right.
All right.
So
D for Mike. What you got, Caesar, for the coaching?
D plus.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. D
D
plus.
plus.
I don't feel like we.
Kendall Browse got the better of Kevin Steele.
Yep.
And for the most part, Barry Odom was getting the better of Malzahn and whoever's calling the plays on that side of the ball. Like Barry Odom's getting a bit like they outscored us on offense. We gave up points. So I mean, I appreciate when we do make adjustments, but I felt like it took our defense way too long to figure out let's not blitz as aggressively as we've been and just leaving us like they were feasting off of us late in the second quarter when they start driving down the field. And I was just disappointed. I was just disappointed in some of the play calling defensively. Of course, we've seen some boneheaded calls made in the red zone with our offense. It's just against an Arkansas team. I just want to. I want to see better coaching than what I saw. I mean, granted, we can talk about the execution of players, preparation going into the week, but I just wanted to see better. They just called a better game than us in many factions of the game, and so it's hard for me to just.
Coached today.
Yeah, so it's just hard for me to give them anything higher than a D plus.
Yeah, we got out coached today on both sides of the ball. By all accounts, should have lost this football game. But
with better athletes, it's an embarrassing day.
Survive and live to talk about it another day. All right. We'd love to hear you guys talk more about it. You know, give us your comments if you're watching this later on how you feel this game went for Auburn. Auburn survives a close game, beating Arkansas. Next week, who do we have next week, guys?
Great question. On the schedule, serving up next week.
Is it one of the
Auburn? It might be. It is South Carolina.
South Carolina, who played decently today. So we will see if we have an opportunity to get another win.
Is that on the road?
It's on the road. Yeah. At South Carolina.
All right. We'll be back at you guys either Tuesday or Wednesday night. Likely will be Wednesday night with our preview of next week's game. And then we're going to let Mike get off his jollies on his
I'm not done yet, baby. There's another one cooking right now. Ole Miss, Alabama. Tune in.
All right. We're out of here until next time. War Eagle.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.